Good evening, everyone. It is a good time to be Indigenous, and we are here at the Intertribal Talk podcast with Devin Destiny.
Hey!
Jay Falkus from Falkus Media.
I guess I should say hello now.
Yes! He has a mic. Finally.
Yes.
Actually, always.
Yeah, that's something that we didn't actually know. He just had this mic, and we thought it was just like decoration, but it actually works, so thank you.
I told you it works.
This is a great moment. This is a great moment. Jay, stoked that you have a mic, man.
Yeah, we definitely need those chiming in moments, and when we're on some of our own bullshit. You're that voice of reason over there.
Well, also Jay is full of fun facts.
He sure is.
It's all a computer.
No, it's always a fun fact. Like you and I will be in a conversation, and then Jay will be like, "Actually, did you know?"
Yeah.
And you're gonna see that tonight.
I only did that twice today, so
We've been here how long? Like half an hour?
Exactly, right?
Just trying to shake some of that rust off. Our apologies to those who were waiting for the next episode. We'll get into the delay.
Just a few bumps in the road.
Yeah, sometimes life throws things at you, and there's nothing you could do about it. You just gotta go with it. So, well, let's check in. Let's see how things are going. How are things in your world? It's been a hot minute.
It's been a little while. I missed you guys. I feel so giddy and excited to be back in the studio. Jay has done a fabulous job with this wall.
Good.
I love this.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice?
It's beautiful. I think it's a definite
Don't
needed.
touch it.
Don't touch.
Oh, I love this.
Hands to yourself.
It's like Jiminy
No,
J.
Because the wall is like a popcorn ceiling kind of.
Oh, so it might flake off.
Well, it's the I use like the 3M command hook things,
Okay.
the sticker sets, and they don't stick that well.
Okay.
So don't touch.
It's pretty, but don't touch.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Okay.
it. So admire from afar. Understood.
Well, I'm stoked about this wall. I'm stoked Mike. Oh my God. I'm stoked Jay has a mic. I almost called you Mike has a J. Oh my gosh. Anyway, do you have a J? Just kidding. Joking. Anyway, I had a very interesting drive on the way here. I was listening to, the new Joe Rogan podcast. Actually, it wasn't new as of today. It was the yesterday's podcast, I believe.
With the Podfather.
Mm-hmm. That was so great. We'll get into all that later, but I was enjoying my drive and I was laughing. And then all of a sudden my truck went sideways and I had like a tidal wave go over me, and I showed up a little shaky here today.
It's terrifying when that huge amount of slush just right?
Yeah.
Just on your vehicle. You're like, whoa!
My life flashed before my eyes. And that whole strip there is 90 and I was driving 50 and that still happened.
Where was this?
Between Swan Lake and the Scales.
Oh, yeah.
It was so scary. I was like, holy crap, what just happened? And I went from to okay. And thankfully Midnight, my truck, I call her Midnight. Winter named her Midnight.
Ah, yes, okay.
But yeah, so Midnight, she's my worthy steed, and I will never get rid of that truck because she has always kept me safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she corrected herself real fast. I didn't even have to do anything. She just went right back to normal, and I was like, okay, we're going to arrive safely. And that's when I called you.
Yeah. I know. I got a question about when you're driving and shit kind of hits the fan.
Yeah.
Two questions.
Yeah.
When that happened, did you turn the music down?
No.
So you kept it going?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, the next question I have is, if you're driving somewhere and you're looking for an address, do you turn the music down?
Yeah, I can't. I do, and it's like that meme that was I seen it on Facebook, and I can't remember what it was, but it was your age when you have to turn the music down to see where you're going or something like that.
Right.
I was like, You know what? That's so weird, but it makes sense. I do that.
I do the same. That's why I was asking. Like,
Yeah.
I like when I'm looking for an address, I turn the music down as if it's going to help me see better.
Yeah. But because I'm a showboater, I have to turn it back up so everyone hears my bass when I'm pulling in.
For sure. Oh
Right.
yeah, you got to roll up proper.
Yes. And you never know what I'm gonna pull up with. It might be like Alan Jackson 1 minute or George Strait, and then it might be, you know, like In This Moment or Metallica. And then sometimes, you know, throw in Led Zeppelin. You never know what I'm gonna pull up in blasting.
No hip hop in there?
Oh yeah, always too.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
No,
okay.
that's like my Newport run. Have my little bad bitch moment.
Yeah.
Sing along to Lil Debbie. Fuck that. Yeah, that's my jam.
Debbie.
Yeah. And also, like, yeah, no, I have my certain songs that I listen to when I need to, like, you know, boost my mojo a little.
For sure.
Yeah.
You have to. There's like I seen it on Reddit today. Someone made a post about like what songs do you listen to get your mood up.
Yeah.
And I always like reading posts like that because then it's like it's good for yourself to like pull songs out there. Like, hey, like
Yeah.
you check out new music and it kind of introduces you to different genres and
People would think I'm so weird to hear my songs because, like, my number one is like Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. And then the next one is actually Barbie Drip by Nicki Minaj.
Barbie Drip.
Have you ever heard it?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to have to show you after. It's my
Okay.
jam.
All right.
Yeah. And then the next one after that would probably be Coming Undone by Korn. And then,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Korn. That is a band I haven't heard of in
a long time.
15
probably.
years.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Oh yeah.
And then anything Deftones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's they're the one. I'm gonna sound really ignorant here, but like they're the group that has the album cover with the white horse on it.
It's called White Pony. Yeah.
White Pony. Yeah. Okay, that was a good album.
We went with Joe Lewis down to the Commodore in Vancouver, and we saw
Nice.
them live.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was so great, and I got elbowed in the nose in a mosh pit.
Oh.
It was my fault though. I crawled into it because I was so short, standing at the back with Ryan and Joe, and we were having a time. And I was like, all the tall people stood in front of me, and I was like, I can't see anything. And I love Chino, and I was like, I gotta go to the front. And Ryan's like, don't do it. And I was like, whatever. I went anyways. Crawled through the crowd, literally like from looking down on the floor, and I was singing to change because my favorite song came on, and that's why I ran to the stage, right? But of course, I jump up and I look up, and as I look up, I see an elbow just like boom.
Oh.
It came and cracked me right in the nose, and I basically like sauntered back to Ryan, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And he's like, "How was it?" And I was like, "Terrible."
Oh man. That reminds me of we were at the Commodore for a concert, Jedi Mind Tricks.
Okay.
This is like 2006,
Yeah.
2007 maybe, somewhere around there. Anyway, we got there. We thought we were getting there early, but we weren't early enough to get to the front of the line.
Yeah.
So we get there and we're like, "Hey guys, like, how about we just offer security some money? Let us in first."
Yeah.
Okay, done. So we asked him how much to let 10 of us in ahead of everybody else. He's like, $20 a head. We're like, done. Whatever, man. So we like paid him. We got in first, and all we did is stood elbow to elbow at the front of the stage.
Yeah.
Right, and that was our spot. Anyway, concert's going. It's good. R.A. the Rugged Band's opening up, and this guy is like behind us, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so excited. I haven't, I got kicked out of the last concert. I was in for Jedi Mind Tricks for fighting," and we're like, "Oh yeah, that sucks. But you're here now." Like, yeah, whatever. And anyway, concert goes on, and he's like, "Hey man, I gotta go to the washroom, but like, can you keep an eye on my girl and this guy that's like kind of trying to dance on her? Like, I don't know what's going on with all that." And we're like, "Whatever, bro. Like, just
Yeah.
we're here to enjoy the concert. We're not here to babysit your relationship. Like,
Yeah.
handle your own business, man." Anyway, so he goes, and then he comes back, and all of a sudden there's just like melee ensues. Him and this other guy start fighting, and then his girlfriend goes to like protect him,
Yeah.
right? Get in between them. Well, she gets dropped.
Oh
Like
no!
punched right in the face and just
by the other
dropped
dude.
by the other dude.
Jeez.
Guess who got kicked out of the concert again?
Yeah, no doubt.
He did. Oh man, that's just like, wow, buddy.
The Commodore.
Yeah, it's an interesting place.
I love it there. It's kind of like an opera house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I quite love it there.
When was the last time you were at a concert? What was the last concert you went to?
I'm trying to remember.
I know COVID feels like 20 years already. So
Honestly, I don't even know.
Oh man, when was the last time you were at a concert, Jay?
I've been to one
In your whole life?
in my whole life.
Oh.
And that was 2008,
Oh, man.
maybe 2007.
Who'd you go see?
MXPX
Nice.
and somebody else, I can't remember, whoever opened.
Yeah.
But then the headliner was Headley.
Okay.
What's his name? Jacob Hogarth.
But this was back before they sold out, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
When they were cool.
In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like their first stuff. I don't know.
We had a lot of good bands back then.
Okay, I'll answer the question of the last concert I went to was I went to a Jay Chou concert.
What is that?
Jay Chou is like the biggest pop star in China. Well, he was. He can rap, he can country sing, he can do pop music. Like he did it all. He is a huge celebrity in China. Everyone loves him. But that was the last concert I went to. But what I wanted to say about music is like what you said about bands selling out and like how we look at music and think of it differently as we get older. And I've realized that I think that it's like either we're growing with the music or we don't.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes because when we hear Snoop Dogg, when you hear Doggy Style, right? When we all heard that for the first time, we are young and we're in a very different time of our life. So therefore, when you listen to that music, it represents a time in your life that was like, fun, party, and like, getting oblivious, right? And then as you get older and the artists you love listening to, they get older, well, they're going to start singing about shit that's more relevant to their own life.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. No,
they have a glow up.
They have a glow up, so to speak.
They changed their name.
Yeah, Snoop Lion.
Yeah, and they changed their sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes when we look at artists who grow and then we look at them and we're like, oh, they suck or they've sold out. It's like, have they?
They've just changed.
Or have they just changed?
Yeah.
See, the only reason I think Headley sold out is because they went from, I don't really want to call them punk because they weren't like punk,
Yeah.
but they went to like radio pop.
Yeah.
I'm betting you didn't really listen to them before.
They were
much.
on like Blink 182 level and then
right?
went to like Spice Girls.
Yeah, right? Like not Spice Girls level, but I mean like that type of music.
Yeah.
Right? And it was all, that was it. Their lyrics though, because if you listen to like covers of their like radio pop songs,
Yeah.
they were good songs when they were done like by another person.
Yeah.
Like a cover of that in like punk or whatever. Right? But that's,
I love almost every kind of song remade into a metal song because it's always done so cool.
Oh, I was trying to think of who. I just heard a song. Someone took a song and turned it into country, and it was hilarious. Oh, what was it? It was a Weezer song.
Oh, really?
Someone took a Weezer song and turned it into a country song.
Beverly Hills?
It's pretty funny. No, it wasn't that song.
Oh.
That's a terrible song.
What?
so
Sorry.
I'm-
Like,
It's okay.
offended.
You be offended. I will crap all over that song because
That's one of those annoying songs that actually like brings me a little joy though.
did I just poop on you?
You did a little bit. I mean, it's one of my songs that does, as you said, like it takes you back to a time more simple.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, if that song makes you feel good, all the power to you. It just like I heard it too many times on the radio. It just.
I definitely don't sing into my blow dryer. That song.
No, never.
No.
Okay.
Give myself the Mariah Carey hair.
Love Mariah Carey.
Also, yes.
Oh
great
man,
artist.
I grew up with Mariah Carey. What like?
Okay, when you say it like that, it's confusing, but I get what you mean.
Oh yeah, we were best friends. Just grew up. She was just on the res.
Yeah, totally.
No, but I mean, her. My brother bought her CD when it first came out.
Yeah.
And like I remember like jamming out on that CD. Like it was amazing. Like Mariah Carey, like listening to female R&B and like that, like it was almost like I appreciated Jamie for that, because he made it so it was like, he's a big guy, and like people were, you know, like would look at him like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna probably keep my opinion to myself about some things, right?
Yeah.
And so when it came to music, and he could listen to whatever music, but he had an ear for it, right? He knew good music just to listen to it. And so I felt like good that I could like listen to Mariah Carey and no one's gonna make fun of me for it.
Yeah. That's kind of how Ryan and I sort of fell in love, was over music and movies. And, you know, it was kind of like that, you know, music brings people together.
It does.
Yeah.
And
it can tear them apart.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I remember, you know, before I moved to China and, you know, kind of dating and like, I remember meeting a girl. It's irrelevant who she is or what her name is, but like, I remember meeting a girl and we went on a couple dates and we started getting into music, and I put on Nirvana.
Yeah.
Cause I love Nirvana. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like check this out. Like, do you know Nirvana? And she's like, who? I'm like, you know what? This ain't gonna work. Like, because from there it went from, okay, so what kind of music do you listen to? Da 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 da. And she actually started getting like really offended.
Yeah.
By me suggesting music to her.
Yeah.
She's like, don't try to change me. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm change you. I'm just trying to introduce you to, like, you're sitting here crapping on hip hop. You're crapping on this different genres of music. I'm trying to show you that, like, it's more than just what the commercial radio plays and, you know, what they advertise. Like, there's better music than what you think is out there.
Yes.
Don't change me.
Don't change me.
Cool. I won't. Peace. I'm out.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
if we can't listen to the same music in the car, then we're probably not fit.
I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I truly, truly believe that. I find now, like, a lot of the songs that Sarah listens to, a lot of the artists that she listens to, is on my playlist now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, one of my favorite songs that she showed me is Gold on the Ceiling.
Never heard of it.
Oh, I'm going to feel really bad for Jake. You look that up. Gold on the Ceiling. I can't remember the band who sings it, but it's like gold on the ceiling. Like, they're a good band, and that's one of my pump up songs, right? It's the
Black Keys.
Yeah, God, it just hit me. Yeah, the Black Keys. Have you heard of them?
No.
Check them out.
Okay.
Really good music.
What genre would you say?
I can't play it. I can, but then we'll have to mute it.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Is it like indie, kind of?
I would say, yeah. Kind of
okay.
indie.
Okay. I like some indie music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of guitar and like electric guitar and drums and, you know, so it's
awesome.
Yeah. I think you have to have somewhat of a mutual love of music with your significant other.
Oh, yes.
Otherwise.
It's, you know what, though, you know how they say like opposites attract?
Yeah.
I find that that's like a lusty thing, but it's just like only people who do have genuine interests that are similar usually stay together. And that's not factual, you know, like there's going to be people out there that are very different that are together.
We're quoting you on this. This is relationship advice 101.
No, don't take my advice. You know, like Ryan and I, you know, it's funny. My sister and I went on a hike today.
Today?
Yeah.
Where?
Just behind, we went up to the moon, the lookout.
Oh, yeah,
behind the band office.
Yeah.
And we just hiked up there, and I was taking her to the spot where Ryan and I first technically met.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I was telling her this story, and I was like, you know what? Like, he was a snowboarder guy, and I used to snowboard, and we ended up like throwing this like picnic table on this big fire pile, and I, being a show off, had to go run and jump off the flaming picnic table, and I did like a 360, and I was wearing this like headband earmuff thing, and he said, he's like, I noticed you right away and fell in love with you, and was like very curious as to who you were. And then that's where it began. Oh,
damn. That's beautiful. I like that.
That was me fresh out of high school. So we had known of each other for a while, but like it was just kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and then fate brought us together.
I love that.
And we literally we bonded over listening to music. And you know what? It was so great because he thought I was going to be this like girly girl, but I shocked the shit out of him when I was like, no, I listen to this and I do this and I blah, blah, blah. He's like, wow, you are not what you seem.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, but it does. Music brings people together.
Yeah, it does. Sports brought Sarah and I together.
Yes.
We played on the same 10-up baseball team, the Golden Arms, and I just got Jake.
Yeah.
And super stoked to have him. And there's one of my teammates. Her name was Sarah also. And I said, hey, Sarah, let's. Do you want to take our dogs out for a hike one of these days? Like just get them out and hang out with, and get them hang around other dogs. And Sarah overheard me asking her about going on a hike.
Yeah.
Sarah didn't like that.
No.
Sarah's like, fuck that. I'm going on a hike with you with my dog. I didn't know she had a dog, right?
That's so funny.
So she asked me out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Change the game.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what the crazy part is Jay knows this. I told him this, but like I put it out to the universe. I put it out to the creator. I said, I am so tired of being the one to pursue a relationship. I want someone to pursue me for once.
Yeah.
I want someone to ask me out. And then boom, then Sarah just appeared, right?
I love that.
So it was.
The universe, always listening.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why you got to be careful. You know, that's why your words are powerful.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I say that with my clients all the time, especially when we're talking about like doing full moon rituals and like manifestations and affirmations and stuff. I'm like, you have to be very specific on what you want, because you might be like one of my friends who did a full moon release ritual, wanted a new car and got into a car accident that night and then had to write her car off, but she got a new car. So you had to be careful about how you say things.
Because just because you wish for it doesn't mean you're going to get it in the way you would expect to receive it, right?
Yeah. I don't think she actually got into an accident that night, but it happened within the time, like a very like close time. And to me, like I knew in my head, I was like, oh, what happened?
Damn.
We joke about it now, right? But
For sure.
Yeah. So we got totally sidetracked. How are you, Cody?
I'm good now.
Fill us in. Yeah.
I'm good now. So yeah, the big reason why we were delayed with the next episode of our podcast is I caught COVID.
Oh, dude.
On the way back, or I don't know. I can't say for sure where I got it, but I definitely got it when I was in Ontario. Mm-hmm. And so you know, it was sketchy. It was a little bit like nerve-wracking because Sarah and I got back. You know, Jay picked us up, and I asked Jay, hey, can you come get us from the airport? And he picked us up, took us home, and then, like, you know, Sarah's mom, bless her heart, she gave us these rapid tests, right? Mm-hmm. She said, hey, just take these rapid tests when you get home for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Right? And we were both like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like, we'll just take it, and we'll be fine. It was all good. Sarah took hers. It was negative.
Yeah.
I took mine. It came back positive.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa. And, you know, initially we're like, you know, false negative, because I wasn't feeling sick. I didn't have anything wrong with me. Yeah. So I was like, whatever. But then the next day, boom, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh my God, I'm sick.
Oh no.
And then everything just made sense, right? It was like, okay, this is definitely positive. Like there's no chance.
Yeah.
And
then Sarah ended up getting it.
Of course, right? Because we live in a small basement suite, and you can't separate.
No.
Unless you have like a house with an upstairs and a downstairs, you're not separating.
Unless you're walking around in a hazmat suit.
Right? Yeah. Or you're going to live in the bedroom.
Yeah. Bubble boy.
Yeah, literally. So, you know, it sucked. But to be honest, it wasn't like the first couple of days were rough. Like, you know, you get the achy body, you're coughing, you're sneezing, you just feel terrible.
How was your throat? Was your throat on fire?
No.
Really?
No, it was good.
When I had it in January before the pandemic was announced, I seriously felt like a fire-breathing dragon.
Just like...
I did. I felt like I had hot coals in my throat, and my nose wouldn't stop being so stuffy. I couldn't breathe out of my nose.
Yeah.
And my eyes were runny, like watery.
Oh, wow.
I was vomiting.
Oh, wow.
Every day. And
Holy
aches and
shit.
pains. But I was also pregnant when I got it. So it hits pregnant women harder. That's what they say, is that like if you're low immunity, which I didn't know, but I think it either triggered me to have preeclampsia or I had preeclampsia, and that's how I got it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That you know what? There's been so many variants that have come out in the 2 years that we've been dealing with this. I can't even remember what the first ever symptoms were of COVID, right?
It was so do you remember like that January, February when a gross ruckus flu ran rampant through everybody?
Yep.
That's when it first hit.
Oh yeah.
And it was
sure.
all in the headlines too, but like people weren't seeing it. It was being announced, and it was like, you know, when you go onto like Google and or to Chrome, and all the news things are like down below it, but nobody really reads those sometimes.
I don't.
And you just go, yeah, exactly. It was in those things. So there was proof there was proof later on showing that indeed that there was this flu going around and people knew about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's been wild. I'll just, I definitely want to dive into this topic.
Yeah.
But, you know, thankfully, you know, we were really worried about Jay, obviously, you know, because he's got his family. And so, you know, immediately even before I felt sick, I just like, hey, bro, I tested positive. Like, just so you know, like, take that information and go get tested. Whatever you got to do, keep an eye on yourself.
And you guys were okay? Yeah.
I turned it down.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. So I went and got tested. I kind of self-isolated. I stayed downstairs and I wasn't letting the girls crawl all over me, but which really pissed them off.
Aww. So hard on littles.
Yeah. No, but then I got tested and I got a completely different story apparently, like because people are getting now the 5 days, 10 days.
Right.
And the person that I talked to was still like, oh no, it's 14 days and on all this. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, but yeah, I had no symptoms or anything, but I, just in case, because with work and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Aaliyah's work and then the girls with school and daycare. And
yeah.
And that's just it, right? Like that was, my concern was you and your wife and my goddaughters, you know, like I was like, oh my God. So thankfully nothing came to you guys from us there. And thank you to Devin for dropping Sarah and I off a care package, you know, all the essentials for when you're sick. That really helped, by the way. I'm glad.
I'm so glad. I was like running through all the aisles, just like when I was sick and when everybody I knew was sick with this, what did they need? And I was like, but I forgot everything you guys asked for. I forgot to bring you your apple juice.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I think Sarah's just going to hold it against you forever, but
I'm going to show up with like a giant crate of it. No. I'll get you your damn apple juice.
Yeah. You want me to pick the apples and squeeze it? I'll do it.
That's right.
But it was honestly, like, I can't emphasize this enough. I truly believe that because we were vaxxed, it wasn't bad. Yeah. It sucked. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't, it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is nothing. Like, it definitely felt terrible. Yeah. But after a couple days, progressively, I got better. Yeah. And then, Sarah was obviously a little bit behind me. Yeah. But she's good now. She's 100%. And, it's... We could, you know what, we can just jump into it. Like, the thing that really upsets me about people's mindset on COVID right now is that it's no big deal.
I hate that.
That it's shrugged off. It's just the flu. Oh, it's just the flu. Yeah.
For some people.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, and I want to ask you this, I want to know, because I know we have a lot of mutual friends and family, obviously.
All with many different opinions.
Yes. But here's my thought on our anti-vax folks out there. Mm-hmm. So they're always out there talking about how the vaccines are bad, we're sheeple, blah, blah, blah. You name it, they say it. And we're all just a bunch of, we're just giving in to the government and all this shit. And it's like, okay, have you ever seen any of the people you are like friends with love? Anyone you love or anyone who you're friends, quote unquote, with on Facebook, any of the anti-vaxxer folks, do you ever see them ever talk about getting COVID? Mm-hmm. You have?
I actually have. I've had several friends that were hardcore anti-vaxxers. They got COVID. 2 of them ended up in the hospital
Okay.
Really bad. And right after that, they were like, okay, everybody that thought this was fake, you can shut the fuck up now because I was just like you until it got me.
I'm glad that you've seen that because I haven't seen it yet. In my,
It's kind of it sucks, but it's a nice feeling.
It's just, I don't understand the defiancy of it. You know, like I get it that there's people who are just going to say no always, right? Anytime they're ever told to do anything, it's like, nope, I'll do it on my own terms or not at all.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, when it comes to the vaccines and COVID, we have family who work in the healthcare system. And, I talk to my family who work in the healthcare system, who are nurses all the time. And you know what our conversations are more often than not? Breakdowns. Just mental breakdowns of they're overwhelmed with the amount of COVID patients that come into the hospitals. Yep. And anyone who thinks that it's a joke or thinks that it's not true, it's fucking true.
It's a lot of work to take care of a COVID patient too.
Yes.
It takes a lot of manpower, multiple people on one person.
Yeah. And it requires a lot of monitoring and, depending on how fast it grows or how fast it hits that person, you're talking one day you're like laying in bed, you're doing all right to like being on a breathing machine,
That's what happened to my dad.
Right.
Yeah. We almost lost my dad in May. Yeah. And that was the scariest time in my life. I was dead set against getting the vaccine. And it was like, you know what? I even got into a fight with my mother-in-law about it. And stuff like it wasn't like I was a hardcore anti-vaxxer. It was just like, I didn't have enough information to make my decision yet.
Right.
And that was where I stood. And I said, it's not that I'm never going to get it. It's that I'm just waiting. I want to see how everyone else's body reacts to this. I want to see if there's any other underlying things. I need to feel okay before I go forward with something.
Right.
With personal choices. And when my dad first told me he had COVID, it was all fine. And he was like, yeah, I've got this. And I feel like this. I feel like that. I'm going to be okay. Everything's fine.
Okay.
Well, a couple days later, I get a phone call that he's in the ambulance. They had to haul him out. It wasn't looking good. They said he's probably not coming out of the hospital. And we all braced for the worst possible thing. And it was, my stepmom on the phone all the time with the doctors and the nurses. She was so stressed out. I didn't cry until, I cried when I first got the news. I went and hid downstairs because I was at my grandmother's house and it was a whole family ordeal. Like, people who do not take this seriously and just slough it off, maybe because you haven't experienced what I've experienced. Maybe you haven't experienced what Cody has experienced. Maybe you haven't seen it with your own eyes to let it sink in enough that this isn't a fucking joke. It's not okay. And just because it's not your family members getting sick doesn't mean you shouldn't work to protect other people.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that, Devin, because we have come so far away from our social contract to each other. What happened to taking care of each other? What happened to caring about each other in that way? It's
having a genuine fucking moral compass.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
I don't know. I don't know because it's everything, listen, I'm no government apologist at all. And in my honest to God opinion, I think that they have handled this not great. I think that, but to be fair, who was really prepared for this? Who?
The doomsday preppers.
Sure, the doomsday preppers, right?
But that's it.
But in terms of governments, no one was ready for this.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So it really bothered, being in COVID lockdown. I had a lot of time to think, and so I realized that it makes no sense to me that why are we allowed to cram onto an airplane?
Yeah.
With 150 or so people. I don't know how many people fit on those planes, but the plane we were on, there's a lot of people. You're, not even a foot away from anyone around you.
Yeah.
We all have masks on, sure.
Yeah.
But still.
It's recycled air.
It's recycled air.
If you turn the little air blowy thing, it's literally like throwing dirty air at you.
I mean, I apparently there's filters from what I'm told. There is filtration.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know.
But, you know, it's my point is, how do we go from cramming into airplanes, cramming into luggage carousel areas, getting our luggage, and that's fine.
Popeyes. You see how busy Popeyes is?
I did. I drove past there yesterday.
But they can't go to a gym where things get sanitized every half hour and everyone wears their mask.
Every half hour, man, that equipment's getting sanitized
after each use.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Makes no sense.
Each use. So, you know, and then it's like, and then they're talking about, you know, closing this down and restricting things again. And it's like, just be a little bit more consistent with your mandates. That's all. Like, I really believe we could be further along from COVID on the other side if things were just a little bit more structured, just a little bit more clear, not this back and forth, you know, like it's
you can do this. Now you can't. School's on, school's off. Like, it's so fucked up.
Right. And so, you know, going back to the what you had said about what happened to our, you know, what happened to caring about one another, and you know, that brings me to something that really pisses me off: the mask thing. Seriously, I don't care if we're friends or family or whatever our relationship is. Hear this: wear your fucking masks. Jesus, please, just wear them. You're not setting any good examples by not wearing your masks in public settings. Like when you're entering a store and they say, please wear your mask. By you not wearing your mask, I get it. Trust me, I get it. You want to say fuck you to the government, fuck you to the powers that be. I won't obey. Fuck you. No, you're not saying that to them. You're saying that to us. You're saying that to everyone who's in the store around you. You're saying fuck you to me and fuck you to everybody else around me because I don't care about you. I care about myself.
Wear your fucking mask and be respectful of the other citizens of the world, but be a keyboard warrior or be a true fighter in other places. But when it comes to the public, if I'm taking my daughter, who is an infant that cannot wear a mask, into a grocery store, I do not want to be standing next to you or close to you or in the same building as you. If you are in there anti-masked, still going to work, doing this, seeing all your friends, fuck the government. I don't care if you say fuck the government. That's fine.
That is fine.
I'm with you. That's okay. That's all right. You go for it.
Yeah.
I'm on your side about that. But please do not compromise our safety, because we have witnessed what COVID can do and all the variants. I'm just saying, like, there's a time and a place, but have some respect.
That's it. It's respect. It's respect for your fellow people. Like, you know what, if like, it's what, a couple minutes that you got to put on your face.
Yeah.
Like, what's the average amount of time we spend in the store? When you go to the store, how long do you spend in the store, Jay?
A lot less than my wife.
I was gonna say, I mean, don't ask a dude, ask a woman.
Yeah, no. I as a dude, I gotta ask, because like
in a store, I get such bad anxiety around lots of people now. I used to before, but it's even worse being with COVID and everything. So me, it's as little as possible.
Right.
You know, like I'm in and out. I know exactly what I want. Even when like Aaliyah will send me lists. Oh, we need this, this, and this, and this. I'll reorganize it so I know, okay, I walk through the entrance and I know where everything is, and I'll organize the list so I can just be like, grab this, this, and this, and walk all the way around and in and out.
Jay's a secret survivalist.
Oh, man,
like
it's
that.
just too many people, because nobody cares. Nobody cares if they walk too close to you, they're not wearing a mask, whatever. They don't care about you. They don't care about the people around them.
Yep.
You know,
I yelled at some ladies at the crystal shop, actually, before the holidays. I was in there picking crystals for everybody. Like, you guys got your presents today. I was in there, and I walked in, and I went right to the space where there was nobody in the area. And I was like, this is exactly where I'm going to be. The second I crouched down to start picking things, I had chicks leaning, like reaching over my shoulder, like knocking me in the head with their hands. And I just finally, I used my big person voice.
Yeah.
And I even said it to the girls at the front, like, I'm sorry, but have some fucking respect. Give me some room. I had my baby on my back and my other child right beside me. You guys could have, like, you couldn't back up and just give us 5 minutes there so we could get what we needed and get out of the way. You had to be reaching over my shoulder, getting your hands next to my face. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the personal space thing. Like I love it. I
totally love it.
There's been some, there has been some, obviously some positives coming from COVID in one way, shape, or form. But like the personal space thing has been great.
Yeah.
I love having my own space because like Canada, granted, their population's not as dense. So like obviously you're not as crammed in most places. But like when I moved to China, there was no such thing as personal space. It was like jam-packed everywhere you went.
Like ants in an anthill.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but then coming back to Canada and then like with COVID and now there's real distance, I'm like, this is great. This is what personal space should feel like.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever want to go back to like, we get to just squish up against each other. No way. Give me my 6 feet. give me my 6 feet. I like that. I like having my space that I just like, I don't know, like how many, like, have either of you ever been sneezed on your neck?
Yes.
How fucking gross is that?
Pre-COVID. I have watched people COVID, like during COVID, before COVID, all this stuff. And it drives me nuts. It doesn't matter if you're wearing gloves. If you are blowing your nose with the same tissue over and over again, wearing gloves, and then putting your tissue back in your pocket, and then going and touching and rearranging all the produce. This happened at Walmart. Yes. But I told the person, I said, that's gross. Yeah. And then I went to the front desk and I said, just so you know, your produce person did this. And they went and dealt with it right away. Right. But
good.
It was just like, wow, like, don't you realize, like, yeah, maybe you're not getting your hands dirty, but you're getting all of those tomatoes dirty with your snot.
Yeah.
That's gross. And then, yeah, like when you go to like the grocery store and then you're putting all your stuff up on the conveyor belt and then somebody is like literally right on your ass, like basically ready to pay. And you're like, what the hell, man?
Oh yeah.
But I've had that. That's where I got sneezed on. That's where I was going. When you said, sorry, that's where I was going because I was in the lineup and literally someone sneezed and it was that's how I noticed they were so close to me.
Yep.
Because I was like, I felt the wind on that. And then I turned back and I was like, hi, excuse me. And then he was like, oh, and like backed up. And I was like, what the fuck, man? And same, no mask.
Yeah.
And I was like, like if I had the girls with me, I would have actually flipped out because, Starly doesn't wear a mask. She's not even 2 yet.
No. And it's pretty hard to expect a kid to wear a mask.
She would rip it off.
Like kudos to the kids and to the parents who like and their kids are like willingly wearing them or the best they can. Like,
yeah.
I don't have kids. I don't feel I have any place to comment on kids and COVID.
You're an uncle. You do.
Okay. But like, it's just,
The trick is making sure you have like fun masks they like and they can interchange.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least for my girls. Like,
yeah.
That's Winter too. Like my 6-year-old, she's really good at. She's very respectful. She's awesome. Even before, like pre-COVID, this is all practices from my mother. When we would go grocery shopping, my mother would always have like a sanitary wipe. She would wipe down the whole entire buggy before any of us kids were allowed to touch it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we were all done grocery shopping, everybody had to wipe their hands with Huggies wipes. And that's what we did. And then as soon as we got home, we wash our hands. So it's my same thing with Winter. As soon as we get home or I pick you up from the bus stop, sanitizer on your hands. As soon as we get home, go wash your hands in the sink. And I get her to wash her face too.
Wow. That's good. That's good practice.
Maybe it's hardcore, but whatever.
No,
well, and that's the thing. Like, before COVID, Aaliyah bought these like cart cover things and people were like, oh, that's so hardcore. Why would you do that? And it's just like now everyone's looking for them. Everyone needs them and wants them, And Aaliyah was like that, like even before COVID, she'd make sure she'd wipe down the shopping carts when we put the girls in there. And right when we get home, that's the first thing they do is run and they go to the bathroom and wash their hands.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Listen, don't judge people on their practices on protecting themselves from COVID.
No, this is before COVID.
No, I know, but I'm just saying in general, like fuck off. Seriously. Yeah. Like if someone wants to take those precautions, let them, because you don't know what they could experience with COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe they have autoimmune issues or respiratory issues already.
Yeah.
COVID could be deathly to that person.
Yeah.
So don't mock them. Don't make them feel bad about what they do. Just let them do their thing. Like, trust me, I've seen some pretty wild people with some outlandish, like...
Have you seen the people that went in with like tan pads on their face? That was like a funny thing circulating Facebook.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, you should have.
Oh man.
If I find it, I'll send it to you. It was pretty funny. As soon as you were saying that, I was like, oh yeah, them.
I just hate how divided we've become on this issue.
Yeah.
And that, it's
like divide and conquer almost in a sense.
It is. And one side, the people who are vaxxed are making fun of the anti-vaxxers, and the anti-vaxxers are making fun of the vaxxers. And it's like, everyone just needs to shut up. Like, just the truth of the matter is it's not in my opinion, it's not some government conspiracy to get us all jabs or whatever people think it is. It's literally, they need to hit a certain number of people vaccinated so that they can get back to treating normal patients in the hospitals, normal patients for surgery, normal patients for the other terrible shit that's gone on in our lives that we all need help with. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes me sick thinking that there are people who've been already waiting for years for surgery,
in pain and all that kind of stuff,
who need hip replacements, a knee replacement, or they have cancer.
We were just talking about that today because Ryan just went to go pick up a fridge from his grandfather's house, where him and his wife both have been waiting for certain surgeries and they keep getting canceled, and it's like they're living in pain, like their knees and those kinds of things, right? Elders like living in pain and stuff like that, and it's really sad to think that people are trying to pull rank or priority over people like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It like Canada, because we have the what is that called? I can't think of the name right now. We have a something healthcare system. What is it called? Universal healthcare system. Okay. Right. So it means everyone, every Canadian citizen has right to healthcare in this country.
Yes.
So, because of that, surgeries are already lined up for years because there's just not enough doctors and time to get everyone in a timely fashion. So now with COVID being 2 years now, those surgeries have been pushed back so far. Yeah. Plus all the new surgeries that have been scheduled that have been pushed back. It's just like, I read an article the other day that said the only way that that people in Canada could get caught up on surgeries is if they opened it up on weekends.
Yeah. Which means more burnt out hospital workers.
Right. So,
I mean, don't you want a fresh as a daisy doctor performing your surgery?
Don't you?
Pretty you don't want an overtired doctor screwing up a procedure.
You don't want a burnt out nurse. You don't want burnt out healthcare workers taking care of you, looking after your charts. It's so much bigger than one person, and we need to remember that. It's about us as a collective. Look, this is going to sound crazy, but if you're really against vaccinations and you're really against COVID and it's all just a joke and whatever, sign a waiver. Yeah. Sign a waiver saying that you neglect or you do not want care if you get COVID. Mm-hmm. If you're that sure about it, if you're so certain that you can beat it and it's nothing, waive your right to care.
Sign a waiver.
I'm just kidding, but
so it's funny when you're like, it's not a conspiracy theory, and I'm like, oh, my conspiracy theory ass wants to
let's go. Let's put our tinfoil hats on.
Okay, I'm so excited. Yes. I sent you those notes in our group chat. I sent you guys what I wanted to deep dive into because, as we all love Joe Rogan in this room here. Many of our listeners love Joe Rogan.
Absolutely.
We love how diverse his conversations are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great way to help lots of people understand. It's okay to have a different perspective on things. He has many of his guests that he doesn't share the same opinion on, but he's willing to hear them out. I think that we need more of that in the world. Less you're a fucking idiot, blah, 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 blah. And it's just more okay, I understand what you're saying, but can you hear me out now?
Your messaging.
In a sense, yes.
It's all in the message. It's all in how you want your message heard.
Yes. I am just pulling out my stupid broken phone instead of my new phone, my broken phone. Okay, so COVID conspiracies, biowarfare, government money laundering, I guess is what it would typically be labeled as. Magician work and causing distractions, and climate change. These are things I would like to talk about right now.
Well, let's go on the first one, chemical warfare.
Yes.
So that's been widely spoken about conspiracy theory is that this was all set as a plan.
Yeah.
And while part of me, my conspiracy side of me says I could see it, like I could see that. But on the other side, I have a really hard time believing that like every single country in the world, every single world leader was like, yeah, you want to release a deadly virus? I'm on board. Let's go. Canada, you in? Come on, Canada. We need you. All right, I'm in. Okay, Iran, you guys in? Yeah, Russia, China, Cambodia.
Oh,
yeah.
the other one, population control. Holy crap. How could we have missed that?
I don't know.
Sorry. Just like light bulb ding. That's another one.
So what do you think? What's your, like?
I'm just like, oh God, where do I start? And here's the thing. It's just like, I have several theories about the theories.
For sure.
I feel like maybe it was a big fuck you from China to the rest of us countries and just show how fucking dependent we are on them, as you had said earlier when we were kind of voice chatting. And I was like, that's actually bang on. What the fuck? What if that was a thing where it was just like, we're going to cut you guys off just because we want you to see how dependent on us you actually are. And that when everything shut down, like think of all the shortages and how people were going nuts buying all the toilet paper and like all the things that they didn't actually need, but they were like, oh my God, the world is ending. We're crazy.
Why toilet paper? Like,
did you ever watch Supernatural?
No. Does that explain it?
No, it's just people that have watched it would find that funny.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about the episode.
So they jump forward into the future, and I think it was like 2019, 2018, somewhere, right?
Oh, eerie.
And it was like apocalyptic, right? Like 95% of the people are dead.
Yep.
And the one guy's like, oh, you're from the past. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, hoard toilet paper like it's gold. Because it is.
That's so random. And so, like, I wonder if that's how that started. Like, some conspiracy theorist was like, oh my God, it's happening. Some, like, super fan of Supernatural. And then, like, it just spread around the world. Can you imagine that? Spread like the virus, man. Well, was saying that, though.
Virus that spread like it was a pandemic. And
but that reminds me of the movie Contagion, though. Like, that was a pure accident that ended up shutting the world down. And then you think of movies like that, and actually that is what turned me into a germaphobe, because I was like, that's literally like how fucking things could happen, right? And you ask anyone in my family, they thought I was psychotic at how germophobia I was.
Right.
You know, I'm all about healthy germs. Like, I own a farm. My kids play in the fucking water trough for my horses.
Heck yeah.
And my kid sits in bunny poop. Like, my kids are healthy as hell as far as it comes to healthy germs.
You need healthy germs.
But I don't want some stranger's cooties after they sneeze and get their booger spray on me.
Booger spray. Oh man, what was that? What was that show? Anyway, I was thinking of a cartoon. I had that Mega Babies. Do you guys remember that stupid cartoon that came out years ago?
No,
it's disgusting. Don't even look it up, Jay. It's not even worth it. It was like a cartoon that came out. These Mega Babies had superpowers.
Oh yeah. One of them was like snot power.
Yeah, snot power. He just like snotted over anything and everything, and it was
super sticky.
Yeah, gross. Just
disgusting. I hate when people are like, when they snort the snot and then they like gurgle it in their mouth and then spit it. That will make me vomit on set. No, do not do it. Anybody, do not. I will actually vomit into this microphone.
Listen, you're off the podcast if you do that. Okay.
I was fixing my headphones.
I thought that was a threat, Jay.
No.
I thought that was a threat.
Okay, so going back to like conspiracy theories, let's talk about what we know as the quote unquote, what is the story? How did COVID start? What is the story that we know that society has been told?
I heard it was from bat soup. That's what I heard.
That was a story. That was definitely a narrative. That was one of them. What else was there? We've also been told that it was man-made and created in a lab.
Also, yes.
Yes. We've also heard that Dr. Fauci created it too. That was the other narrative we've been told.
And Wuhan, like what was about the Wuhan? Was that a doctor or a place?
It's so Wuhan is a place in China.
So that's where it was birthed.
It was birthed in a lab.
Okay.
And so the story, like the kind of what I understand, the main story that like is the more, I guess, like less conspiracy story is that it just leaked. They've been working, this COVID isn't something that's new. This has been around for a long time. There's just different strains, different variants that have been, worked on. And like to anyone who thinks that like they don't continuously work on diseases all the time in labs all over the world, you're nuts, because they do. They're always trying to figure out how things work. That's
how the vaccination was developed, was all these specialists jumped in and were like, we need to fucking save people.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So from what I understand is like they were working on the COVID virus, and then something happened. It leaked, a drop got out, something along those lines.
Like a nuclear spill.
Right. And then the doctor was working on it, didn't notice, blah, 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 went around the rest of the facility, and then it just spread like
wildfire.
So is that true? Nobody knows. That's the thing. None of us know. Nobody fucking knows what the real story is. We'll never know.
That soup one was pretty entertaining. Really scared me.
That honestly, that actually pissed me off quite a bit, that narrative, only because they're taking a stereotype of Chinese people.
Very poor.
Not just that, just like the simple, like it's obviously common knowledge of like what is consumed in China in terms of like animals. So that one really bothered me when it became like this running joke that it was like bat soup, because like there's no proof of that.
Yeah.
No one knows that for sure.
Yeah.
So it was like, it really bothers me when people take something that's cultural and then try to make it into something that's like not. So like,
I don't agree that they eat dogs. Like that breaks my heart.
Hey, it's, that's something that's been like slowly, I think, dying down.
Good.
I hope, like, from what I understand, it is. I saw friends who live in China who, like, there's definitely been steps in place to like try and stop that, but I don't even know how that started. I don't know enough about that to like talk about it.
I learned about the Yulin Dog Festival from watching Vanderpump Rules, because Lisa Vanderpump advocates against it because she's a dog lover, and she's like, this cruelty needs to end. And there were so many harsh videos being circulated about like them beating animals and stuff. And I'm not putting the whole entire Chinese population under an umbrella, not at all. But there are definitely, like, when you see videos get circulated like that, it's easy to stereotype people.
Absolutely.
And it's also just like that. I don't know. To me, it was very triggering. 'Cause, also dog mom here.
For sure.
I was just like, that's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
And it's something that like I don't condone it at all. It's disgusting. It's just something that shouldn't be done. But the thing is that us in the anyone who's outside of China, we have no say in what goes on in that country.
Very true.
None.
It would just be like, prime example, if we were to round up all the res dogs and eat them. To me, it's weird. It's like, can you imagine that? No, actually, I can't.
Yeah.
So far out of my.
I mean,
I have a.
Oh God.
So that's our culture, right? Like how we grew up, how like
we're talking about res dogs?
No, just dogs.
Okay.
North America, like
yeah.
Right? Okay, now I'm not sure what part of India, but in India they worship the cow.
Yeah.
And we eat cows, like.
True.
So true. When you spin it like that, then I'm just like,
it's perspective, right? Like it's how we grew up, how we were raised, compared to like how they were raised in China or how they were raised in India.
Like some people don't eat pork, but they'll have pet pigs.
Exactly. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's all about it's simply we've domesticated dogs.
Yeah.
So that's why we're so like, I can't believe you eat dogs. I'm telling you right now that if we, let's just like magic wand, poof, there's no more cows in the world. Poof, there's no more pigs in the world.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what the next animals are getting eaten are. Horses.
I knew you were gonna say that because
They
I was gonna tell you
They do.
they do get eaten. Yeah. One of well, she's not my friend now. That makes me sound like such a bitch. She's not my friend now, but this girl that I used to be friends with, her dad went to like Kazakhstan or something and ended up trying horse meat over there and got wickedly sick. Like got wickedly sick. But I was just shocked, like, oh yeah, I forget places eat horses. And I know some like some Indian tribes used to eat horses and stuff too. Not Indian, indigenous. Sorry guys. You know what? I am really working on my proper, what is it called?
Terms.
Proper terms. There we go. I am so sorry if I say something offensive. If I catch on, I usually say something to myself or to you right away. Every now and then I'm going to let something slip and I will correct myself. And if I don't, please inbox me. Don't be mean. Just like, be like, hey, do you realize you let that slip? And I feel like, oh my God, sorry. I will work on that. I'm so sorry.
See, sorry to interrupt again.
God damn it. No, I was just kidding.
OKIB,
Yeah.
OIB,
Yeah.
PIB.
Yeah.
The I is Indian.
Yeah,
It is.
We're still called Indians.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's, listen, there's like, I think that kind of, I think like, obviously if we want to change that narrative of how non-Indigenous people address Indigenous people, then obviously we should try and be the leaders in that by dictating our own terminologies.
But nobody's perfect.
But nobody's perfect. And on top of that, it's like, it's,
We're still called Indians though, like our bands. We're
yes.
still called Indians because of money. It
Yeah,
would cost too much money to change the word from Indian to Indigenous.
it would.
Okanagan Indigenous Band.
Why not?
Like,
Keep the I, like,
this
so that-
reminds me of
So all these people that are like OKIB, PIB, OIB, right?
yeah,
Keep the I, so it's that makes it easy.
yeah,
But
totally. Sorry, just quick funny story, and then we got so sidetracked. Indigenous tacos and Indian tacos. My sister was in a cooking class at one of the high schools, and the teacher was like, we're going to make indigenous tacos. And she just started laughing, I guess, because she was like, it just doesn't sound right when you say it that way.
It doesn't. You know what? We are allowed to, like,
I appreciate the effort, but it does, like, to us.
we can say it. It's fine. Like, the fact that we're even having this conversation is kind of silly in my mind because, like, hello, without going down the colonial, like,
Rabbit
Christopher
hole.
Columbus, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Like, it's just, we are that. We've owned it. Most of us, I think, are good with it.
Adopted it. We use it. We laugh with it. We joke with it.
Right. Like,
it depends on who calls us that,
Mm-hmm.
how they call us that.
If it's derogatory or not.
true.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
And you guys wanted me to have a mic.
No, I'm glad you have a mic. This is great. We just want to get you on the camera, JRJ.
Okay, listen. When you said that about when you were like, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean that," that reminded me of all of us in this room have watched "Don't Look Up."
Yes. Yes.
Have you seen it?
Oh my God.
It's the best.
So,
I loved it. I loved it.
Shout out to
Loved it.
Ron Perlman. I love him as an actor. When he was on his rant, and he's like, and also, Indians, feathers, and dots. Why don't you all just work together and just figure it out together? Like, why are you separate on so many issues? Like, just if you worked together, you could probably get a lot more done. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I love that part.
There's so
good.
many parts. You know what's so funny? I kind of got offended. There was this girl that, like, when I posted that, she posted something like where she was like, it was so terrible. And I was like, you obviously have shitty taste, but I didn't say that to her, right? Because I'm nice. But at the same time, I was like, well, okay, that's your opinion. But honestly, anybody who doesn't like that movie, like, something's wrong with you.
For sure.
Such a
Okay.
good movie. It's like old school 90s classic, like comedy.
It's
in a
making
way.
fun of us.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it was so infuriating because that's how the U.S. would happen. Like that's what
yeah.
would happen.
Yeah.
And it's like how they made it so, like with China and Russia and all them getting together, and oh no, they screwed up and blew themselves up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's done. You know, like
Yeah.
that's such a American mentality. Like, oh no, you're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll handle it.
Well, exactly. Right?
We got this.
Yeah, no, I love that, but also was super creeped out by like the rich techie guy. He talked weird. His teeth were weird. He's just like so weird, and he talks like this. And I was just like, dude. No.
Great movie. Honestly, if you couldn't see the humor in that and the humor of where we are today and what we've just gone through, then that movie's talking about you.
It is. It is.
If you were offended by that movie,
Joke's on you.
yeah, joke's on you.
Yep.
What's next on your list?
Oh yeah. Okay. So we were talking about conspiracies,
Yep.
conspiracy theories. Doodly doo. Let me just see here. Doo. Okay. So we were talking about biowarfare. We got through that. Government and money. So this was actually on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And I loved how they were talking about it. And it was so funny because you almost like zone out and gap out. And that's probably what happened when I almost like flipped my truck sideways tonight. But like zoning out, listening to these things and wanting to jump in a little bit, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's why I was like, oh my God, so excited to talk about this. So the government money thing, how the government was like running out of money and the money was in with all these banks and stuff.
Right.
And then they were talking about Bitcoin and Facebook having money and like if all these big corporations had their own money.
Yeah. So basically the largest banks in the world borrowed. I can't remember the number they said, but I think it was somewhere between 3 and 4 billion. Or sorry, trillion. Sorry, $1 trillion. They borrowed between $3 and $4 trillion from the governments around the world. And so basically, what they were talking about on Joe Rogan was that there's too much money in the hands of the banks and not enough money in the hands of society.
Yeah.
And so they needed some sort of an economic halt to ensure that they could get money back into the hands of society.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, this is too, that's what, it's Adam Curry, right?
Yes.
The Podfather. So that's what he was saying. He's like, the issue, has always been money. That's always been our problem. He's like, that is the fundamental issue with our world is just, it's money.
Yeah.
So they needed something to happen where everyone stopped and then they could say, hey, here's some money. Like, we're giving you money back. Here's your stimulus checks. Here's your CERB check. Here's your, here's all this money to help pay for your rent and help pay for your business and help pay for employees' wages.
Yeah.
So did they have any proof of that? No, there was no discussion of proof of it, but is there anything saying that it wasn't true?
Not really.
Exactly. Two things can be true.
Jay mentioned that funny thing too about like the 5-day-a-week thing.
Oh yeah, what was that?
So it's
The CDC, right?
yeah. So basically, there's the 5-day rule. Like you can stay home for 5 days from your symptoms.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it's called in the States, but like we get like EI. So to get like sick leave or whatever to cover you to still get paid for those sick days. With the States, you have to be home for 7 days, but your work only allows you to stay home for 5. So now you don't get paid for those 5 days.
So couldn't you just stay sick couldn't you just stay?
Yeah, but then you get fired.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. So it's if you don't come in on the 6th day.
When you're required to.
When you're
So
required
the
to.
business could, if they were a douchey business, they could fire you.
Yeah, exactly.
So douchey.
Wow.
And they're going to too, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I sound so weird.
listen.
Sorry, I know you guys can't hear me. It's just this
not-
mic is just a cheap, crappy mic. I need to get a better one.
It's fine. We're glad to have you on
Yeah,
there,
no,
Jay.
man. It's what we've admitted this in secrecy. I like the sound of my voice.
No, but it's not that because like I have the headphones on and I can hear you guys and I can hear myself, and because of the quality of this mic, I sound so weird. And like when you guys listen back to it, you'll hear it.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I got to tell you a secret.
What?
Jay actually sent me a voice text.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
the first one I've ever received from him in our entire friendship of 30 some odd years. He sent me a voice message and it was hilarious.
Jumping on the voice message train. You know what's so funny is my one girlfriend that I messaged, she's a total horsey girl, and I sent her all these like voice messages instead of just calling her. She's like, and Ryan always makes fun of me too if her and I are leaving like voice messages. It's just easier for me as I'm walking around the house doing chores and whatnot. If I'm on a call, I got to put the phone down, pack laundry and all that kind of stuff. So I like to do voice messages. Well, he makes fun of me because I send way too many.
Yep.
And then she says that too. She's like, couldn't we just get this over with a call? And I'm like, no, because then I have to like walk around with my phone
It's different.
all the time.
It's different. So going back to like government, like putting hands in the back, like does that now, was COVID set up because of that? Again, they addressed it, but didn't have like a clear answer. But could it have been one of those fortuitous opportunities where it's like, holy shit, we didn't plan this, but wow, this works out great for us.
Listeners, we want to hear your feedback on all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we're not, hey, listen, we're just a couple of I don't
straight shooters,
but we don't know shit. So not about this.
We love to hear about a lot of things, like a lot of our topics, like we're throwing out our own opinions and our perspectives, but we are always open to hearing what other people have to say. Like we really appreciate DMs touching on things that we talked about, things that maybe you think differently of or anything, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, we're super game to hear all that. But do I think it was all money? I think that there are little grains of truth to each of the conspiracies, actually.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. And
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
100%.
There's little grains of truth, and it just so happened to be so fucking convenient that it all went together that they could cause a total ruckus, somehow repair the earth and its atmosphere and all that kind of shit. That'll go on to the climate change one that we're going to talk about soon. But
okay, good. I'm ready for that one.
Yeah, me too. I've I was blowing your shit up with that. I couldn't wait. No, literally,
blowing your shit up.
Ryan was he was watching me walk around the kitchen in circles. I do this a lot when I'm talking to you, actually. So visual perspective, like I in my phone sipping my tea back into my phone talking to you or yelling at you, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I literally, every time I hear a new conspiracy, I work it over in my mind and I'm like, you know what, that's totally possible. That's totally possible. I can see that.
Yeah,
I can totally see that. That's why I have multiple, there's multiple conspiracies that I've looked into, but this one by far is the most interesting to study. COVID conspiracies.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say that's true. Let's say that, let's just own that for a second here and say, okay, this was for money. Who seeks to benefit the most then?
The elite.
How?
Because shutting the world down doesn't fucking affect them in any way.
Well,
good. Yeah.
Amazon?
Keep going.
Amazon?
Yeah.
They blew the fuck up.
Yeah. Go for it.
I was just gonna say large corporations, like that, that can do everything online. Because online, shopping just exploded with COVID and lockdowns and everything like that. And that's what now with with Amazon and
God, I've wasted so much money.
They're not paying taxes and stuff like that, and they're basically making it so everyone has to use them, and the government, the kickbacks they're getting from the government and from the U.S. and
Absolutely, yeah, you nailed it. It's the richest people in the world quadrupled. I don't even know what the word after quadrupled is, but they fivefold, right? Like the richest companies in the world, like Amazon, fivefolded their wealth.
Yeah.
In this pandemic. And let's think back to early on. Who was told to shut down? Who had to shut down when the pandemic first hit?
All the little people.
All the fucking little people. Because why? How?
Because we are so fucking dependent on them.
How would we, as a small business, all of us are small business owners in this room, how would us not being able to operate, how would that hurt anyone? Or sorry, I didn't. Let me rephrase. I fucked that up. By not allowing us to operate, that hurt only us.
Yeah.
In so many ways. Look at how many businesses closed their doors. Look at how many restaurants closed and never opened again.
Yeah. They want to keep people on a hamster wheel.
I sympathize with those restaurant owners so much. They have been put through the fucking ringer, and it was really sad to see that they took such a brunt of the shutdown.
Well, and all their employees and stuff too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and that's the thing where I think, like, it was a post I mentioned, I think both of you commented on Facebook there is, like with businesses and being able to adapt. Like, it was a post where I showed, like, the newscaster using his iPhone.
Yeah.
Film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's like killing the videography business. And as we do this, one of the 3 cameras we use is an iPhone right now.
True.
You know, and
Yay.
it's just learning how to adapt, because in the beginning of the lockdown, it was my first like big year.
Yeah,
the
man.
amount of money I lost, I'm talking like more than I made this past year. I lost in 2 months because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was adapting to like the current situation. Whereas like restaurants, I think the ones that survived were the ones that did like takeout and delivery, you know, and like
No contact delivery,
Shifted
everything
quickly.
online. Yeah.
that was the biggest thing, is if you can adapt and shift quickly, you're going to survive. Otherwise, like you said, how many closed and never open again?
That's right. It's like on one side, like again, it comes back to what we were talking about earlier about like the consistency with the government and their mandates. And it's like, you know, for an example, when we went to Ontario, when we went to the malls, obviously, like I was like, yes,
That's
the
where it
malls.
happened. Just kidding.
No, it wasn't that busy actually. The malls weren't as busy as I expected them to be. And honestly, every store had like staff at the front.
Yeah.
And lineups, and it was like we're only allowed this many people in the store. Like they're really good about like capacity limits and stuff.
Yeah.
But interestingly, the food court, every food court in any mall we went to in Toronto was security patrolled, and there's only one entrance into the food court, and you had to show your vaccine passport to be able to sit and eat in the food court.
Oh, okay.
Something that we don't do here in BC, right? And I thought that was interesting because like I wasn't like I just went to go walk in, and they're like, whoa, hey, I need to see your passport first. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, like here it is.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like interesting, but I just think that when it comes to something like COVID and the fact that like no one knew anything. Really, like, you know, everything's just been kind of like learning as you go. Like everything's kind of been on the fly, so to speak. I get to a certain degree that like it was like no one knew really what to do, so they're just like shut it all down.
Yeah.
Like shut it down. Like, oh fuck, we don't know what to do. Shut it down. But it was the opening and closing and opening and closing. It was like that back and forth, the wishy-washiness of that.
Do you feel like they did that to alleviate some of the pressure that was kind of being pent up, like on if they kept things in total lockdown, how much worse things could have gotten, like for humanity and like for civilians? Do you think that they did a slow release on things just because they were like, we are on the verge of like purge anarchy?
In Canada, no. We're not like that. We're too docile, I think. America, we almost saw it. You almost saw it when they tried to lock them down.
Yeah,
Like,
it was crazy.
It was wild there. America does not tolerate being told what to do in any way, shape, or form. Canadians, we tolerate it to a much larger extent, I think. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, but I'm saying it would take a lot more to push us to that than it would in America.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, yeah. Maybe there's a lot of things that go down that we just don't know about. We don't see it. Maybe they're very secretive. Maybe they're smarter than we give them the...
Who are we talking about?
Just anybody
The
against...
man.
Yeah, the man.
Oh, that guy.
The ones that operate in the shadows. Sorry, there's like my conspiracy brain going on again, too.
But here's the
where I'm
thing
like,
about some of the conspiracy theories, like how people are saying the numbers are fudged. And I know people in Canada and in people in the States where they've had elderly family die of natural causes and their death certificate says COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for money.
No, 100%. Because in Canada, it was like, this person, their spouse isn't going to get their pension now.
Yeah.
Because it was COVID. And because of all their health care and their pension, however that was set up, because they died of COVID, your spouse doesn't get your pension now.
We're talking about Canada or the States?
This was Canada.
Seriously.
With the States, I just know that I know somebody that was their grandma or grandpa or something like that.
Huh.
And
Always Jay with the fun facts.
Well, because America is such a privatized healthcare system, these hospitals
The
require
yeah.
COVID deaths to keep money flowing in from the government
Yeah.
to keep them going. Because, I mean, it's like for, you know, if you can relate most of your deaths to COVID right now, you're going to get money for that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it was like you said, just of a natural cause, well, then there's no kickback for that, right? It's crazy.
But if the family of that person suffers, then.
So, and that's the thing, like with the conspiracy theories saying, like the anti-vaxxers, they're grabbing those little truths and sticking to that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they don't
because
see,
they're not wrong.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what they're basing their whole argument about not getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you honestly, like speaking very truthfully, I definitely went down some like dark thoughts, like rabbit holes when I was on lockdown because I'm stuck by myself. Like, I mean, obviously Sarah's there, but like we're both kind of zoned out, sick, like just like not feeling good. So like you really like your brain can take you some places and it can be really like when you don't have any social interaction, if you're not like, if you're just on Facebook constantly, if you're just constantly on Reddit or YouTube or whatever, and if you start looking at one thing, well, the algorithm's going to keep feeding you that similar content. So you're going to keep consuming it. And if you don't know better to pull away and be like, whoa, I'm just like, what the fuck?
It sucks you in.
It sucks you in. And I really believe that COVID, because of the lockdowns, and then people became afraid and people became like really isolated because of this. Well, your mind plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to some dark places.
I'm very, very fortunate to not have experienced that. You know, I was fresh into lockdown with a newborn baby. I went into labor the day our lockdown was announced. And gross. What was that? Oh, that was the tea. I thought that was drool. I was like, dude, gross.
Oh, yeah, just like, no, that's the teabag string.
Spotify listeners, Cody almost choked on his tea bag.
Did I just get teabagged?
He just got tea bagged.
Jay, edit that out.
No, keep it. That was so good. I was literally like, ugh. You probably saw my face. Like, what was that? Sorry.
Well, the little tab came off when I pulled the. Anyway.
No, it just looked like a big string of drool. But okay, hold on. Totally lost my train of thought. Where were we?
Going about dark places.
Yeah. So I live on a farm. Ryan didn't have to stop working. We were considered essential service. So he got to continue working because he's isolated. He's in his truck. He doesn't have any contact. And then anybody that he had to exchange any paperwork or anything, it was always done in a sanitary kind of way. I got to go out and be with my animals every day. I got to go out for a walk even up and down my driveway. Yep. I got to stay home in a house on the lake where I have the sunshine and the water sparkling. So for me, being in that environment, I think was really what saved my mental health, especially being home with a newborn and not having any of my family being allowed to come and see me, help me, be there for me. It was literally like, that's what tugged at me, was the fact like I've got all these other things to keep me distracted and happy, and I've got a good content life, but holy fuck did I miss having my sisters, my brothers, my aunties, my mom, my parents, like my in-laws, everybody, because I'm such a family oriented person.
For sure.
That's what killed me the most. It was like my friends and I, you know, like I hardly ever get to see anybody because I'm so busy anyway. So like I get to have a phone call or a Facebook video chat or whatever. And that's a great visit for us. But the fact that I could not have my family beside me, that tore me apart.
I agree with you. I think that was hard on everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes we have to remove all the smoke and mirrors that we are constantly used to about deflection stories and oh look, squirrel, and like, you know, like, oh, this happened, oh, so we can do this, you know, like sometimes the government's best interest is actually taking care of the
Humanity.
people,
Yeah.
right? So like in that context, like when COVID first hit, like I don't think it was designed to like pull people apart and isolate everyone.
They
and,
needed
like,
to figure some shit out.
They needed to figure some shit out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just,
How serious is this? What are we looking at? What is our next step? What are we able to do? What do we have to do for people to understand this?
we were still doing our janitor work at that time. And that was sketchy some days.
Yeah.
You know, like we would get a phone call or an email and it's like, oh, by the way, a couple people at this building tested positive. And we're like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for us? Like,
Yeah.
are we still expected to go clean? Like, you know, they gave us like these hazmat suits and stuff. And it got really like freaky.
Yeah.
And, so anyway,
That's crazy. That's honestly, that kind of freaks me out. Like when you get that phone call and then you have to put on a hazmat suit, like what goes through your mind? Like, holy fuck, am I in a video game? Like,
it was like, are we quitting today?
yeah.
Honestly, that was like the discussion.
Or
like,
do we believe this?
Are we walking away from this
Yeah.
job today? Because this isn't in my contract. This
Yeah.
isn't in my...
That sounds like your dad's words.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I've had a conversation with him where he's like, well, that's not in my contract. Legally, I don't have to, and I'm not supposed to.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, done. I love that. You
Yeah.
hit them with the facts. I know where you get it from. Factually.
Very true.
So we were talking about the money. So now let's get on to the next guy here. Seriously? Incorrect pin. I do that all the time.
Sorry, I wanted to add about money.
Yeah.
There's always money in war.
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh, yes. Do you know how scared I was of, because this,
Not that coronavirus was a war.
like biowarfare.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how it's attacking everyone everywhere. And it created so many different jobs specifically to fight that.
Okay, yeah, I get you. Like if we did have a war, how the government would put all the money into that.
Think of like World War II, and like how much money went into that, and like and then creating jobs for like making like ammo and
Yeah.
everything like that, right?
True.
Whereas like
Yeah.
now, I can't remember the name of the company in the East there. They were like, we were running short of masks being in a lockdown. So
Okay.
this company, because they were going to get shut down, they completely changed what they made, and they made, I think it was masks, or it was, it was hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I
what
think it was hand
Yeah,
sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
Yep.
Because we couldn't get it
Yeah.
in Canada. And then there's actually a distillery in Oliver that they made hand sanitizer. You know what I mean? The amount of money that people are making,
Yeah.
and essentially, because it's like war, right? Like they're fighting to.
Yeah. No, yeah, I
Right,
get what
right.
you're saying. Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
No, it definitely goes well with it. But that speaking, I feel like this one kind of ties it all in together. So maybe we'll leave that one for the very last part. Magician work and causing distractions, because I feel like that's something we can touch on every single one of those topics
Yeah.
with. But so let's get to this one. When we were talking about government money and we were talking about how everything's shut down in the world, that's when it clicked to me again, where I was just like, but that's when you kind of notice it's maybe not so much climate change, but this is one of the conspiracy theories. And it's something that I very much felt like if the government could do any fucking good for anybody, it would be shutting the world down, maybe to preserve the planet, to see like what would happen if humanity was not so relevant and Earth kind of got to take over again. And we saw that worldwide. We saw what the astronauts were seeing. We saw rare animals coming out. We saw many prophecies coming to life. Many of our own prophecies, many indigenous people's prophecies coming to life. And it's like the great reset. Like, what would happen if humanity, the disease, was removed and the animals could take over again? And we saw clear water. We saw clear air. We saw less waste.
Yep.
We saw animals thriving.
Absolutely. you saw the pollution clear out in Los Angeles, California, China, just stopped.
Yep.
Right? Air became clear, clean again. The idea that we can't do better is fucking bullshit.
It is such bullshit, and that just all proved it.
And it was amazing. It was good to see, like, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone knows more than I do right now, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like there's certain, like in Italy or France, sorry, it was France, where they always put the boats down the canals and stuff.
Yeah.
The fish returned to
There were
those
dolphins.
canals. That's what it was. Dolphins.
There were dolphins in the canals.
Right. And it was so beautiful to see. It was just so nice to just see nature, like what we're shut down for like the world collectively was shut down for a month, I think. Like here, like not all at the same time. I think collectively, everyone was shut down for at least 2 weeks at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. But either way, the world was shut down for about a month.
Yeah.
And just seeing that nature just needs a couple weeks, just a couple weeks, and you've seen differences in climates, differences in nature, in water, and like you said, the animals, and it's just like, I think that was supposed to be a sign for us. That was supposed to be something for us as a humanity to look at and observe and say, this is our last shot.
Yeah.
I don't doubt for a minute that like there is definitely like we're on borrowed time. We've been on borrowed time for a long time, but I think we're really seeing it now.
Yeah.
I think it's been, look at what we fucking went through in British Columbia alone.
Yeah.
And we're still going through it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to flood again.
I'm scared because the place, like the mountain behind my house, is supposed to be like landslide danger zone.
Yep.
And I've been having some issues with stress about it. So I'm going to share some personal information with you guys. So I consider myself to be a canna babe. I use medical marijuana to help with depression, anxiety, OCD, anger issues, right, stuff like that. And it is like microdosing, as Adam Curry was talking about how he like microdoses on it. You know, like for me, it's never, if I'm driving or anything with my children, it's nothing like that. It's always used safely, right, never over consumed as well. Like I'm not one of those girls taking bong hits every 5 minutes. It's not like that. Like I haven't even touched a bong since I was young. And anyway, back onto this. So I'm a canna mom, and I approve natural remedies. And so because of the stress of climate change, trying to do better, belonging to a blue collar family that, you know, our means of income is the blue collar lifestyle. Is it in alignment with my own beliefs and whatnot? No, it's not. But right now, that's how we're surviving. Are we trying to look to other things for the future? Possibly. Yeah, of course. Of course, my family has talked about it. So I have actually been microdosing with mushrooms.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I take one pill once a week. It does not give you a high. It does not make you loopy. It does not make you crazy. It is not fucking drugs, you guys. This is something natural that comes from the earth. Chaga is a mushroom that comes from the earth that heals your body from cancer. Microdosing mushrooms that help with your psychosis, that help you to see things on the bright side always, even if you should be sitting in the rain bawling your eyes out. Everything's peachy in my world right now.
100%. I know exactly what you're saying. I also microdose. I haven't done it for some time.
Can we just like high five each other real quick? Yeah. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did. The way I had it described to me, and it's pretty much what you just said. It's like you're not gonna trip. You're not gonna see crazy things. But what does happen is your day is just a teeny bit brighter.
It's, for me, replacing something chemical like anxiety medication, depression medication that I don't feel comfortable with. I don't judge anybody that does choose to use that, but this is the route that I've chosen, so please don't judge me.
There's no judging here.
Yes.
And, you know, the thing is, too, is that they've proven. So, fun fact, since we're on this topic.
Yes.
Fun fact, Canada has legalized medical use for psychedelics.
Right on.
So, magic mushrooms are now legal in Canada for medicinal use.
Y'all hit up those cow farms.
That's
Just
right.
kidding.
That's right. Yeehaw.
I used to go picking. Back in the day, way before I had children, before Ryan and I were together, I used to pick mushrooms in Pemberton.
Cool.
Do you know what's funny though? Is they all were wearing gloves, and I forgot my gloves.
Oh no!
And I was picking mushrooms, and I was looking at the grass, and it was like doing weird things, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I didn't think that it would go through my pores and into my body, right? Yeah. And then I look up at the sky, and I guess it was a normal blue sky, but in my world, it was like pink and orange, and I was like, "This is the most fucking beautiful sky I've ever seen." And I was just like, "Do happy little farm girl picking mushrooms and stuff, getting them ready," because my friends were like, "Let's go do this," and it was such a funny experience. And like anybody that knocks psychedelics, I understand people that overuse and abuse stuff, but like for those who use it for purposes like us, I mean, I'm not seeing colorful skies and stuff. It's not rose-colored glasses.
Nope.
Metaphorically though, yeah, it is. Like I feel great given the circumstances that the mountain behind my house might come down on me and my neighbors. This has been helping me cope with mental health.
It's been proven. I was just gonna say magic mushrooms have been proven to actually do a mental reset.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with depression, PTSD.
Yeah. I'm quitting drinking as well, which is the thing is like I'm trying not to touch alcohol anymore. So that's another thing that it's helping me with.
Absolutely. It has a lot of good benefits. And that's why the Canadian government has legalized it, because they understand that it serves a purpose more than just what we see in movies. And that's the craziest thing. Like, we're going to get back on this, on the environment and stuff here, but like I hate how fucking long it's taken for the world to understand that, like, the way that drugs were demonized early on, the way weed was demonized and mushrooms.
It's not a drug.
Right. Like, exactly. Like, it's like the fact that we're here now, I'm grateful for, and I appreciate that we have come so far. But at the same time, it's like, hello, like, fuck, like, people were trying to tell the government this forever.
Wacky tobacco and like the reefer madness, that kind of shit, like the boomer stuff.
This is your brain on drugs. Remember that chick with the short haircut with the frying pan?
That
and
is
the
your
eggs?
mom on a tequila night on a Saturday. Fucking idiots. Just saying. That's why I'm quitting alcohol, y'all. Alcohol's not do everybody
we're
that
an
good.
hour and a half in, just so you guys know.
Oh wow!
I think we might have to go a little longer today, if that's all right with you.
That's cool.
Okay.
You know what? We've been away from each other for so long. This is great.
It is.
Yes.
Do you also remember that commercial? The similar, like, it was a concerned parental advisory, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I can't remember what the name of it was, but they remember the one with the brain that was wired, and they were cutting it like, this is your brain on drugs, and they start snipping the wires on the brain. It just
was that more like an 80s kid thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I wasn't. I'm a 90s baby. I didn't see
you.
that. No, the 90s is where it's at.
No. 80s.
Hey, I'm not knocking the 80s.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. 70s is where it's at. But
True.
The 90s, some of the best music.
Listen, okay.
Grunge music. Well, if you come from the grungy community, like some of the best grungy music.
Okay. Let's stay on the topic. We can get into music.
Yeah. We'll have that on another episode. Let's not do the sidetrack McGee thing.
Okay. So going back to nature, healing itself.
Yes.
All the good things that came from that. So you and I talked at great length about this last night, right?
Yeah.
It's something that we both got pretty fired up about.
Oh, yeah.
So there's something that I learned from one of my professors, and I shared it with you, and it's from Dr. Jeanette Armstrong, and she gave a speech, and I'm just going to like put it in a tiny little nutshell. Obviously, I'm not going to, I can't say the whole thing, but basically what she said, and this was years ago that she gave this speech, and she said that the relationship that we have between us as people is so damaged. It is so broken on society and how we treat each other and our relationship with each other as people, that reflects the health of the land.
Our whole environment.
Our whole environment is sick and is hurting because we are sick and hurting. We are treating each other badly. We are not taking care of each other, loving each other like we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that reflects on our relationship with the land.
Yeah.
And so if we can get to a place where we can start loving each other again and accepting each other for who we are and what we're about, and just forgetting about who you vote for or what side of the political aisle you are on, or if you're gay or straight.
Understanding that you're of the human race specifically.
Yeah, right. And so I really, when I listened to her speech, it was just really resonated with me because we aren't nice to each other.
The real thing, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but it shouldn't matter what the fuck our beliefs are. Mother Earth before everything.
Mother Earth before everything, because if we don't start doing...
Yo, quote me on that. If somebody puts that on a t-shirt and it's not like, if I'm not getting residuals from that, go fuck yourself. But peace and love.
You're reminding me a little bit of Beth Dutton right now, okay?
I love her.
I do too. Sorry. But, you know, so on that note, we talked a lot about our habits as people, as consumers. So people are sitting here and people are saying like that we've ruined this earth. Yeah. Like as consumers, we've ruined this earth.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. While we do shoulder some of that responsibility of what we've done to the earth, you can't deny the fucking corporate conglomerates that have shoved their advertisements in our faces for fucking ever.
It's not your fault you were brainwashed, y'all. Just for anybody that can't speak business jargon like Cody can. The point is you're getting brainwashed, and you always have been. Our parents were, their parents were, everybody has been.
Exactly. That's exactly it. We have been so programmed to just consume that now they're putting the blame on us, saying like it's our fault. While partially it is, you know,
who taught us that?
Exactly. That's just
bad.
When you look back in like the 1970s, even the 1960s, when people were shopping for clothes, you bought clothes based on the season. Yes. That was it. Winter's coming. Okay, I need a winter coat. I need snow pants.
Nothing non-essential. Nothing over the top. Nothing unessential.
Exactly. Yeah. So we, and now we shop year round. Like constant. Hey, listen.
You see my face cringe, right?
Listen, I mean, I know we're guilty of it. I don't shop because like Sarah does my shopping for me.
I love to support,
for clothes anyway.
I love to support local makers, indigenous artists. Like I love to support everybody. This is not just like because I'm an indigenous woman supporting indigenous companies. I will support other ethnic backgrounds if I like your shit.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. I like fashion. I'm a fashion snob. That's my thing. I love it. I'm inspired. But also I am so bad. My closet, you guys, like I do walk in there and hang my head with shame sometimes. Like, is this necessary? And then I turn the light off and I walk out and I'm like, yes, it fucking is, Devin. But also you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, I mean, there's to that note though, like you, correct me if I'm wrong, you donate clothes you don't wear anymore.
Oh, always, to cousins, to anybody.
Bingo.
Yes.
So that's what I'm getting at, right? It's like, while you might have a wardrobe full of clothes, and as do I purge my closet constantly. And I always donate to the homeless shelter. I do. Like, I go through things and I'm just like, okay, when was the last time I wore this? Like, I watched, do you remember that like show that came out on Netflix, and it's like, this doesn't spark joy.
It's Marie Kondo. I love her.
That was amazing.
I did that to my house. I purged a whole bunch of stuff from my house.
Right.
Yeah.
So in one sense, it's like, while we may overindulge in consumption of some things, I think that if you're giving back, if you're taking those things and giving them to people in need or people who have something or without those things, then you're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
But like, there's more we could do, and not just shopping for clothes. I mean, there's
upcycling fashion. That's a huge thing for me right now.
Sure.
Instead of buying brand new everything, there's some things that I'll still buy brand new, but I like to buy old things and turn them into new things.
You shop at Vive Boutique?
Valvaloo.
Valvaloo? Yeah.
Valvaloo.
Right? Like, I mean, granted, their prices are over fucking rated.
Okay, here's a play.
Overrated.
Here's how you beat that, though.
How do you beat it?
Clothing swaps with your friends.
Ooh.
You got, well, this is before, pre-COVID. And it's funny because actually my friend Lapika is the one that introduced me to this. And ever since then, it's been a thing in my life. I haven't done one in a long time, but I definitely want to do it again, where you and your friends bring bags of clothes that you no longer wear.
Yeah.
Whoever shows up first and brings the most gets first pick.
Right.
And everybody who doesn't really bring much gets to pick last. And it's kind of like you go in order, but you basically pile all the clothes in the middle.
Yep.
And everybody gets to take turns going through absolutely everything, seeing if it fits. If they like it, they take it home. That is a great way. And then anything that's left over, you donate.
I love that.
Isn't that beautiful?
You want to do one of those?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Let's do one.
I don't see guys doing that.
Guys are going to do it. We'll get them into it.
Well, they might have like a brother, a cousin, a nephew that might fit the style or the clothing of the pile.
But I mean, like, when I first started losing weight, I got rid of 2 giant bags of clothing. Mm-hmm. And at the time when I was that heavy, like, I had shirts, like some of my dress shirts were $200-$300.
Yeah.
Before kids, obviously, right? Like, and I worked in the mall and I got a discount at.
So bouge.
I got a Well, I'd go and buy them when it was on sale. So it'd be like 50% off.
Milano?
Yeah, Milano. They always had one. And then there was like Tip Top Tailor and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But then working in the mall, you also get a discount. So it got 50% off and then another 15% off.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, going and spending whatever it was, but like, and then try to give those away to people I knew that they were the same size.
Yeah.
It was like nobody.
Yeah.
Like, guys are just like, no, it's fine. I'll go buy mine. Like, if I need that, I'll go buy it, right?
Why are you guys going to be so weird?
I'm not weird.
You're grateful.
But at the same time, like, Aaliyah, there was a guy that was selling clothes because when I dropped weight, there was a guy that was selling clothes because he lost weight. And it was like 2 bags or something. It was like $20.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. Like, right? Like, I was just instantly like,
I don't want to wear that dude's sweaty
I don't know.
clothes.
Well, and some of them were too, right?
Yeah.
Like, some of them had like the neck sweat stain, right? Like,
you don't donate that kind of shit to people. I'm sorry. If you're one of those people that drops off that kind of yucky stuff to people, it's not that they won't be grateful for clothing. It's that they're going to be like, why would you give me this sweaty stain stuff?
As a big guy, I knew it was clean. It all just been washed. I washed it too. But as a big guy, like the neck with like the collared shirts, like it just stains.
Yeah.
And, like, I understand that. And it's just like, and it doesn't, it's not necessarily like he was going out and like working out in this dress shirt.
Yeah.
He probably wasn't. It was just like,
I know what you're saying. I figured it out. I pieced this puzzle together now. I understand why guys don't do this shit. Because we typically wear our clothes to the brink of no fucking return. Like, we will wear shirts until they're tattered and like falling apart. Same with our jeans.
Like a lead singer of a rock band or something.
Don't put me in that.
No, I'm not saying us. I'm just saying, like, in general, I think men, we'll wear clothes until they really can't be worn anymore.
You know what's funny? I'm actually one of those people. I'm actually like a severe clothes hoarder, but like I donate a lot.
Yep.
And I save lots of clothes for like other people, like family members, like if I think that they'll like it, but they won't fit it right now. I save stuff like that. So like literally my whole spare room is filled with like tons of totes of things that I've saved for people.
That's cool.
This spring I have made it an official goal to purge absolutely everything. I'm not holding on to everything. I have my stuff picked out that I want, and everything else is going to go. But I am somebody who has had the same clothes since I was in high school that I still fit now. That I have actually made that conscious decision and took really good care of these pieces of clothing. And it's so funny because every now and then when I pull those things back out and I'll wear them for like a month or something, somebody will be like, where did you get that? I love it. And I'm like, seriously, this is from like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, like whatever.
I need to tell you something right now. Mm-hmm. If I had any clothes from when I was still in high school, I would be single right now.
Yes. I have to say he would be.
Thankfully, my mom mostly dressed me, so I always looked all right. If I were to dress how I really wanted to dress back then, I probably, nobody would want my clothes.
Fair enough.
The yellow jumpsuit that Mitchell destroyed comes to mind.
Oh, God, the banana suit.
A picture of that one of
and your
you
husband.
and Ryan. Yes. That was so funny. And I was just like, in my mind, too, I thought, like, you guys look like you would be the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. God, it was really unfortunate is because my three really good friends at the time, we all worked at the Vernon Lodge together, scrubbing dishes.
Nice.
And we got paid, and there's like one store in town that sold like really like hip hop, style clothing, and we all went to go buy these suits. Yeah. Platinum Shorty, I'll never forget it. Platinum Shorty suits, and there was 4 left, and I fucking drew the short straw because I just did. And there was like a black one, a blue one, and like a kind of like a burgundy beigey one, and then there's a yellow one, and I ended up with the yellow one.
That's awesome.
And I still bought it. I was like, I'm gonna own this.
But you know what that made you, though? That made you very memorable in that outfit.
Oh, God.
Jay remembered it. And for me, even though I didn't know you back then, it felt like I was like, oh, that brings me back to that era.
I remember it because how mad he got. There was like burn stains all over it because we exploded the fire in a backyard.
Yeah. No. Go back. How did the explosion happen, Jay? Let's relive that memory, please.
I was not the one that did it.
Allegedly.
I might have been the one to instruct how it should have been placed because I was sitting right there. But so we were shaking up like a Pepsi can and a Coke can, and we're like, which one will pop first? So I can't remember which one we threw in, and it just like the side popped and it fizzled out and like whatever. But we'd had the fire been going for quite a while, and we had a few inches of like coals sitting there. Yeah. And we were using full logs. So we dug in to the coals, shook the can up, put it in, covered it with the coals, then covered it with the wood.
Oh, gosh.
And we forgot about it.
Oh, my gosh. So it took you all by surprise.
Because it took like 15 minutes to explode. And then it like exploded. And we're on the res in Vernon in the middle of summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Completely dry.
Everything's dry as fuck.
And I was sitting close because it must have been a cold night or something because I was like right there.
Yep.
And I had a hoodie on and a piece exploded and I got burned on the back of my neck.
Because it was in your hoodie.
Well, no, like it wasn't in my hoodie. It went like down below and it was like just underneath. So it went around, must have ricocheted off my hood and then like into my neck.
Oh, that's
but
painful.
I was like face into the fire and my face didn't get burnt. And Mitchell was beside me wearing Cody's yellow jumpsuit and like the whole thing had like scorch marks all over it. Oh. And I remember Donnie coming out and being like, we were terrified. I think the only 3 people jumped up was Jamie, Mitch, and me. And we were like grabbing the hoses and because this thing like have you seen his backyard, his parents' backyard?
Yeah, kind of.
The whole thing was covered in like ambers all over. And this is dry res, right?
Yeah, it takes off like
so we're
drier than a popcorn fart.
We're stomping around, someone's grabbing the hose, someone's turning it on, and Tony comes out and just like does like
freaks.
The dad voice, like, and everyone else just kind of just froze, and we're like running around trying to clean it. We're like, help us, like,
don't just stand there, do something.
The good old days.
No, and that's when parents just laugh at us and they're like, you'll figure it out. You got yourself into this mess.
You talk to him now and he laughs and he goes, you guys were so stupid. Like, why? You exploded the fire. Like, you're so dumb.
But in that moment, it's like panic. It's
Yeah,
like, what the fuck was that? Like something just exploded in my backyard. Like,
you guys were all probably stoned and forgot about like what the hell you put in there.
oh, probably.
Oh, yeah,
I don't even really remember that.
You
night.
weren't even there.
That's why I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't
like,
remember because you came the next morning and Mitch was still wearing it and you were so mad. You were just livid. I was surprised. I was like, I've never seen you that mad before.
Oh man.
Well, you did say in the past you were a hothead.
Sure was.
Well, anyway. That's all right.
So, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's do that. I think the last one thing was why do I keep doing that? I keep getting incorrect pin. Okay. The magician work and causing distractions. Did you notice how many 5G towers were just like inserted all over the place once lockdown was implemented?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You were not paying attention at that point.
No.
Okay. There were literally, it was like while lockdown happened, if you think about before the pandemic, do you remember the dude coming out on, it was being circulated on Facebook, but I think it was on YouTube or something, this guy that worked for the companies that build the 5G towers. He jumped on as an urgent message. This is pre-COVID.
Yeah, I remember
and
that
he
guy.
said, these 5G towers are going to be causing sicknesses. They are going to be causing cancer. They are going to be emitting, what is it? It's radiation. They're going to be it's going to be emitting so much radiation that it's going to literally fuck up everybody's insides, especially children. And he went off, and then all of a sudden the video just like disappeared, and people were like, "What in the actual fuck?" And then all of a sudden 5G was like boom, 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 boom everywhere. Especially when the pandemic hit. Internet was slowing down because of how many people were online because they had nothing better to do. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they shipped in on these big trucks. And I actually saw a video of my friend that was like parked downtown. He's like, I shouldn't be here right now. I'm probably going to get told to get the fuck out of here. My friend Nick, actually, I'm going to send this to him so he can like jog my memory on exactly what happened. But like he watched these 5G towers come in. And this was after everybody was like giving curfews to be out and like blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
We never had the curfew here, though.
Not the curfew, but like been told like, don't go out unless you absolutely have to.
I'll tell you right now, driving at that time was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Traffic was great.
Yeah.
But you know what? That guy, I'm sorry, but like I remember getting, maybe not him, but someone who was a part of his group handed me a card at a market I was at. This was a Christmas market at the rec center, and they were handing out cards warning people about 5G. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to be honest, I never really gave a shit enough to like look into it, to care enough about it. Like I know nothing about this topic.
Yeah. Nothing
at all. So you are my information source at this point.
Well, fuck.
I mean, like,
this is not a usual thing for us.
No,
I know. You always have
know.
Something to say.
I mean, okay, here's what I do know. The little bit of information that I did read said that the reason that they were doing the 5G was simply to have better infrastructure for cell services as well as hospitals and medical services, because the 4G just wasn't cutting it. It wasn't because the big concrete buildings, blah, 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 and reception was just not good. So this was going to like amplify and make it better. I don't know.
This brings me back to Don't Look Up. That movie, you know how they're about like they're all ready, they're gearing up, like everything's planned for them to fucking blast this asteroid or this fucking, is it a comet? Comet off of its course so that they can save humanity. But the rich dude's like, oh, are you guys stupid? Do you know how much money that I can make from that thing? Do you know how this will help the world?
trillions of dollars worth of minerals.
Yeah. So you think of shit like that, like where people's priorities are over humanity when you're looking at how deep these fucking mines are going, and like people are not like, you know what, they're like, oh my God, earthquakes are so frequent here now. They never used to be. It's just like, well, you're destabilizing Earth's crust, you fucking idiots. And also like people who work, and this is the shitty thing too, is like, I love my blue collar friends. I love everybody. I love the blue collar nation, but like, holy shit, like if you can't at least admit like what you're doing, yes, is great money and it's like whatever to the economy, but do you understand what you are actually doing? You're sucking the earth dry. Have you ever heard of the Dust Bowl? Have you heard of the Dust Bowl?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Live and learn, people.
I think I heard a lot of, was it you and I talking about this, or who was I talking to? No, I don't think it was you and I, but I know we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. The amount of information I received after the fires were kind of sorted out in our area, mm-hmm. the amount of money that was thrown around by the government for the wildfires, for the cleanup, mm-hmm. and for the prevention to make the fire guards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Government okayed clear cutting of hundreds of thousands of acres of forest. That
oh yeah, they're gonna make a shit ton from that.
Yes, and the fire was not anywhere near these areas that got logged.
Yeah,
nowhere near it.
Yeah,
they're like, oh well, make a fire guard and just mow down all these trees,
and then magically another pipeline appeared.
I don't know about all that, but is
that
true?
That was another thing I heard where people were like, oh, Justin Trudeau couldn't do this and this and this for Indigenous people, but you had time to build a fucking pipeline or fix a pipeline behind everyone's back.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. we'll have to look into that one. But it's just, you know, we have to, like, while we own some responsibility of where we are at, mm-hmm. these giant businesses need to do something mm-hmm. also, right? Like there's, you know, we're talking about like, you know, sorry, going back to like the 5G thing. So what, like, what do you think, like, what do you think was why was that necessary? Do you like, according to that guy, and he was very concerned about everyone's health and safety, but like, where did he get, you know, like, that's what I think about. Like, where did he get that from? Where did he get his information from?
That's the thing. Who knows? Like, that video was removed before any follow-up of any kind could have been made, or like to even figure out who this person was, where to track them down. For all we know, they could be dead. You know how people love to pop off conspiracy theorists or people spreading the word, trying to keep the world safe. You know, you think about stuff, and like journalists and stuff like that too. Like, you think of how many people's lives are in danger for sharing the truth of something.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, we see that on Joe Rogan all the time, where he's bringing people in and he's just like, hey, like, remember that time the government was chasing you and they told you your life was in danger if you shared any secrets about blah, 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 blah. Tell me about it. You know, it's like you hear and see stuff like that all the time. Of course, there's going to be conspiracy theorists about things like we're talking about right now, just being like, well, haven't you heard of when this happened to so-and-so and the government was after them? Like, you can't fucking trust those fuckers. Like, you know, I see stuff like that and it just, it spins my head around in all sorts of things. Like, I remember being pregnant with Winter watching Zeitgeist, and Vinny and Ryan came in from like hunting or doing whatever. And I had just filled their brains with everything Zeitgeist I had just learned. And then they were like, what? And I was like, y'all don't know shit about shit. And blah, 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 blah. And I let hormones take over, and I was just like chewing them out. But, you know, we have these sources of information like Zeitgeist and One Strange Rock and, you know, like that Zac Efron documentary and many other documentaries. You have people like Russell Brand out there, like not spreading gossip, but like enlightening people on certain perspectives of things as well. I love documentaries. I am a documentary kind of a guy. And the thing I've learned is that no matter what, no matter who you're listening to, mm-hmm. there's always a message there's a certain message that they're trying to put forward to you. There's always a
what is that called when you have like not an objective, but
mission statement?
No. What's that word when you're like you have
Key point?
No, you're trying to. I can't think of the word. Anyway, I'll just keep talking. Maybe it'll pop into my brain. But like, it's just every documentary has like they're really trying to say something very particular.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always like a narrative like that with every documentary. So like I watch Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'll say is like you just have to take you have to take those things with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You can't dive in head first and believe everything that you hear, because if you do, you're going to go nuts. You're going to absolutely lose your mind. Like you have to.
You're out of the matrix.
Yeah. Right. Right. Like I remember watching the Zeitgeist, and I remember when they were saying that they were going to put a tax on cows farting. I remember that. That's really stuck out for me because they're like, because they blame cows for a lot of the greenhouse gases and because they fart so much, and because we consume beef on such a high level that like it's like, oh, they're going to start taxing cows, the farmers essentially.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, I know we said we're going to wrap this up, but let's go back to what they were talking about, Adam Curry and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
When they said that like there's actually a plan, a world plan, so to speak, that they're basically not gonna be producing cattle anymore. Mm-hmm. Like we're not gonna be
to bison, and then they're gonna take all the bison away.
Did they say that?
Yes, they did.
Okay, I didn't catch that part. I just caught the part where they're gonna be focusing more on soy products and less like basically fake meat. They're basically going that route because it's just too much.
They're preparing to ship everyone to space.
God, we are going to end up like the Wall-E movie, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like our bones aren't even touching each other.
Well, that's funny that you like mentioned movies and stuff too, because like that was another thing that I wanted to bring up. Like all of this shit, like for people like me who watch movies, get the subliminal messages, really go inside myself, think about things, think about like how relatable each of those events are to current circumstances, what potential circumstances are. Movies that are like divide and conquer movies, Avatar, Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, and like so many others, about this could be how the government will turn the world into. They will put us into factions. They'll put us into what is it on
Squid
Hunger
Game.
Games? Yeah, stuff like that, right? But like honestly, if the world were kind of to like get their shit together, for certain climates and everything as well, like we could all help each other out without and here's the other thing too, is like the government wouldn't get shit if everyone went back to buy like instead of buying and selling like to the trading and stuff like that, right? Like back in the old days, right? Well, you think of stuff like that and it's like, why is that not doable? It's like, well, fuck, you got to pay for this, got to pay for that, got to pay for this, got to pay for that. Well, why aren't we making changes right now to help this planet? Like they also talked about, I think it was in the Joe Rogan podcast, but like also like many other documentaries where they're taking garbage. And like, as you said that in the voice chat as well. I've learned this as well, like in places like, I think it's in Norway and stuff, like Sweden, where they are using garbage and creating energy. Why the fuck hasn't anybody jumped on board with that yet over here? Like, what is our problem? Are we that behind? Are we fucking cavemen? No.
You know what? You know what's really interesting is after we talked about that, I wanted to like do my due diligence and look up the countries that do that.
Yeah.
And there's an article published this year, like just this year, and it was talking about how these countries in Europe are actually going to try and get away from burning garbage for energy sources now, because because they feel that it's they're not going to be able to keep up with their climate goals.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even though they're not burning, like
it's like a temporary solution, but not a long-term solution.
Yeah.
But even still, like look at all the garbage you're getting rid of in that moment.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like you're essentially, instead of burning coal, you're burning garbage and turning that into energy. So like, is burning garbage better than burning? They're not just like taking a match and lighting a bonfire. Like it's a bit. There's machines involved that turn the burn off into steam and turns into energy.
It's like a juicer,
right?
Essentially.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of work to do. And honestly, the thing is, like, while I say that, like I said earlier, that these companies have a larger responsibility to do better for the earth than we do. But at the same time, we as the consumers could shut that shit down immediately.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola refuses to use recycled plastic because they have done studies that says that the consumer wouldn't like the little gray color that the bottles would have. Aesthetically pleasing reasons.
Yeah.
That is why they don't use recycled plastic.
Bullshit.
So now the incentivization for us is to turn in the bottles and we get money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that, which is great. But let's talk about all the other shit that we don't recycle, that isn't recyclable. Mm-hmm. Wishful recycling is what we were talking about.
I have more notes too. Notes. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. So this is the thing. I have to go on a rant here. So after I was like the Divide and Conquer example movies, Avatar, Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, and many others, we can't change the world for the better if we can't all treat each other better, as you had stated. Caring for the planet, caring for the animals, learning to homestead, learning to not be reliant on other countries, but still manage to keep the peace with them. Like, why isn't that doable? Also, replacing fossil fuels. There are already ways for us to repurpose garbage and turn into energy. Why are we not doing this? Recycling always doesn't always end up in the recycling. Sometimes it's the best thing to do is actually burn it. And that's what I do at my house, because I don't know how many times I've gone to the landfill where I'm like, wonder how many years that has been sitting there, you know? Oh, yeah. And I'm just like, no, not happening. So why are we not like repurposing our bottles and like other things that could be melted down and put into other forms, like sanitized and all that kind of stuff? Why are we not repurposing these kind of recyclable plastics to like help with medical supplies, stuff that we get imported from other countries? And like, why haven't we made that happen? So like the proof is there, solutions are there. What's the holdup? And then, again, it was like buying and selling replaced with equal living and trading goods, where everybody is equals. Nobody is better than anybody. We all take care of each other. We live symbiotically with the land, as I was talking about with Natalie in one of our other episodes of conscious choices. Yep. You know, like there's so many people who are homesteaders who they will admit like this isn't an easy job. Like it's work, it's everyday work. And that's why we can't have a regular job. This is our job. This is how we survive. That's how it used to be for many, 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 many years until all this other shit was created. But in a sense, it kind of worked better because it was like a community helping each other. And that's how our indigenous communities operated. We all helped each other. Well, I mean, there were always wars between tribe and tribe, but as a community, we helped each other. Somebody was cold, you bring them blankets, this and that. You share the food, you hunt together, you fish together, you harvest together, you make clothes together, you make baskets together.
Absolutely. But we've lost our way.
Yeah.
And you know, when I'd much rather see people have gardens in their yards than fucking grass.
I fucking hate so many of my neighbors for that reason.
The amount of water we waste to keep these manicured lawns is ridiculous. Like,
poisoning the soil beneath our feet.
Yep, exactly. You know, there's I can't remember the name of the documentary I watched. There's a
Kiss the Ground.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was so good.
It's one of my favorites.
That farmer who was talking about how he grows like several different crops year round. Yeah. And he's made more money by doing the several different crops than by focusing squarely on like just corn. Yeah. Or just wheat.
Yeah.
And
fucking up all the ground and wondering why he can't turn profit some years and why the rain won't help anything.
Right.
And, yeah.
Because if you just grow, like he's like, a lot of the pasture, we just let the natural grass grow and the carbon capture works excellent when the soil's healthy. If you have healthy soil, it will capture the carbon, pull it right from the air, and it can store a lot. Yeah. But then remember we showed his neighbor? Yeah. And he's like, this is my neighbor's land. And it was just like a dust bowl. It was like, it was just worthless because for every time you grow something, you grow it, you crop it, and year after year after year, more salt builds up in the soil, and then you need even more water.
Your canopy is fucked.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you have no shade. You have no way of keeping that water in.
Yeah, because you need so much more because of the salt content.
An example, and this is just a personal theory, all of the oil fracking in Alberta, one of the biggest fires that happened there that cleared out a whole city. You know, our friends, Vinny was affected by that. Their house, they lost their house and everything. And, you know, I think of stuff like that where, you know, like I say, like I'm proud to be a blue collar girl. I think the life and like the way people are, how hard of workers they are, it's amazing. But I feel like the goal, what it's all about, I can't stand beside it. And I see stuff like that and I'm like, you guys are literally sucking the earth dry. She has no moisture left in her over there.
Well, I mean...
And that's not my own scientific fact. It's just an assumption.
That's why we're seeing the extreme weather.
Yeah.
Mother Nature's pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Mother Earth is pissed.
She's let us know many times.
And honestly, this world's going to be here long after us.
Mm-hmm.
But
it won't look the same.
It will look how it needs to look once it gets rid of the thing that's hurting it the most, which is us.
Yeah.
So either we adapt and we learn to change, or we won't even be here to call this place home, because we will get rid of the world will get rid of us.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll answer us with a very strong hand.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good note to leave on.
Absolutely.
I feel inspired as fuck.
Let's go.
Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. One thing I wanted to add, though, is the movie Don't Look Up. Mm-hmm. Did you guys watch the end credits?
Yeah.
Yes. When she got eaten?
That was awesome.
Well, and other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the son?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he
comes out.
Yeah, that was I like that when they said you're gonna get eaten by a blah blah blah, and
she's
like,
know what that is.
She's like, what is that? She's like, we don't know yet.
Yeah. Our technology is so high advanced.
Don't pet them.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in, sitting with us. What should we name this episode? Put on your tinfoil hat. Don't look up. We could.
Don't look up. Don't look down. Or how about it's take a look around?
There it is. Take a look around.
Take a look around, y'all. Become aware.
Yeah.
Become conscious.
Much love, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Peace.